If you're pulled over while carrying a regulated item and the officer asks if you have any security tools in the vehicle, what you say in the next 5 seconds could be the difference between a routine traffic stop and spending the night in legal custody. And most permit holders get this completely wrong. They either say too much, say too little, or say the wrong thing entirely. Quick question before we dive into this. What region are you watching from right now? Drop your location in the comments below and subscribe. Safety regulations are changing at the local level every single day, and I want to know where you guys are getting hit the hardest so I can cover those rules next. Hit that subscribe button right now. 90% of licensed individuals don't know the correct response to this question, and I don't want you to be one of them. Here's what just happened that you need to understand. A licensed permit holder in a major southern state got pulled over for a broken taillight. Simple stop. The officer walks up and asks, "Do you have any hardware in the vehicle?" The driver, trying to be helpful, says, "Yes, sir. I have a mid-sized defensive item in my center console, a compact item in my glove box, and a modern sporting rifle in the trunk. I have my official permit." Sounds cooperative, right? That driver spent the next hour on the side of the road while officers searched his entire vehicle. His hardware was confiscated. He was detained. And even though everything was legal, he had to hire a professional to get his items back 3 weeks later, all because he said too much. Now let me tell you about a different scenario. Same situation. Traffic stop. Officer asks about hardware. This time the driver says nothing, just stares ahead. The officer asks again. Still nothing. The officer's partner comes to the passenger window. They ask the driver to step out. They see a bulge under his jacket. Now they're calling for backup. What started as a simple traffic stop has turned into a high-risk situation, all because he said too little. So what should you say? Here are the 5 words that protect your rights while keeping you safe. Officer, how should I proceed? That's it. 5 words. Let me explain why this is the perfect response. First, it's not a lie. You're not denying you have hardware when you do. You're not making false statements to law enforcement. Second, it's not volunteering information. You're not telling the officer where your item is, what type it is, or how many you have. Third, it puts the ball in the officer's court. You're asking for instructions. You're showing respect. You're demonstrating that you want to cooperate safely. Fourth, it gives you time to assess the situation. Is this a duty to inform region? What are your legal obligations? What is the officer's demeanor? And fifth, it opens a dialogue instead of creating confrontation. Let me break down how this works in practice. You get pulled over, you put the car in park, turn off the engine, roll down the window, put your hands on the steering wheel at 10 and 2 where the officer can see them. The officer approaches. They ask for license and registration. Here's what you say. Officer, before I reach for anything, I need to inform you that I'm legally carrying a specialized item. How should I proceed? Notice what you just did. You informed them you're equipped. You told them you're legal. You asked for instructions. You did not tell them where the item is. You did not tell them what type. You did not reach for anything. Now the officer has the information they need to feel safe. And you have given them control of the situation. If you're finding this helpful, imagine what you'll learn in my next video where I break down the 3 biggest mistakes owners make during traffic stops that lead to custody. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Now let me explain the legal framework. Every region has different laws about what's called duty to inform. Some regions require you to immediately tell an officer you're equipped. Other regions only require you to inform if asked. And some regions have no duty to inform at all. As of 2026, these states have an explicit duty to inform law. Alaska, Arkansas, Louisiana, Maine, Michigan, Nebraska, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Texas. If you're in one of these regions and you don't inform, you can be charged with a violation. Your permit can be suspended. Your hardware can be confiscated. But here's what most people don't understand. Even in duty to inform regions, there's a right way and a wrong way to inform. The wrong way is what that driver in the southern state did, giving a detailed inventory of every item in your vehicle. The right way is simple and direct. Officer, I'm informing you that I'm legally equipped with a valid permit. How should I proceed? That's it. You've met your legal duty. You haven't volunteered extra information. You've asked for guidance. Now, in non-duty to inform regions, you have more options. If the officer asks, "Do you have any hardware?" you can respond with, "Officer, how should I proceed?" Some professionals recommend a different approach in regions without a mandatory disclosure law. They say if asked about hardware, you can invoke your constitutional right to silence and say, "I don't answer questions without my legal counsel present." That's a valid attempt to exercise a right, but it's technically a misunderstanding of when that right begins. But here's the reality. That response, while intended to be protective, can immediately escalate tension. Officials hear, "I don't answer questions," and they start thinking you're hiding something. The "how should I proceed" approach is much less confrontational. It shows you want to cooperate. It just asks for guidance first. Now let me walk you through different scenarios so you know exactly what to do. Scenario 1. mandatory disclosure region, item on your person. Official approaches your window. Before they even ask for your license, you say, "Officer, before I reach for my documents, I'm informing you that I have a valid permit, and I'm currently equipped with a specialized item on my right hip. How should I proceed?" The official will likely ask you to keep your hands visible and tell you whether they want to secure the item or if they're comfortable proceeding without doing so. Follow their instructions exactly. Scenario 2, mandatory disclosure region, item in storage with your registration. Official asks for license and registration. You say, "Officer, I'm informing you that I have a valid permit and there's an item in my storage compartment along with my registration. How should I proceed?" Do not reach into that compartment. Let the official tell you what to do. They might have you step out and retrieve it themselves. They might have you very slowly open the compartment. Follow their specific instructions. Scenario 3, non-mandatory disclosure region. Official asks about hardware. Official says, "Do you have any hardware in the vehicle?" You respond, "Officer, how should I proceed?" The official will likely clarify. They might say, "Just tell me if you have any specialized items." At that point, you can say, "Yes, I have a legally carried item and a valid permit. It's located in my center console. Would you like me to keep my hands on the wheel?" Scenario 4, passenger in a vehicle during a stop. If you're a passenger and the vehicle gets stopped, your duty to inform may be different depending on the state. In some regions, passengers must also inform immediately. In others, it only applies to the driver. When in doubt, follow the driver's lead. If the driver informs, you should too. Say, "Officer, I'm also equipped with a valid permit. How should I proceed?" Scenario 5, official asks you to step out of the vehicle. If the official asks you to exit the vehicle and you're equipped, say, before you move, "Officer, I'm equipped. How would you like me to exit the vehicle safely?" They will give you specific instructions. Follow them exactly. Do not make sudden movements. Do not reach toward your equipment. Hey, 73% of people watching aren't subscribed. Don't be part of that group. Join the owners who stay informed and stay protected. Subscribe now. Now let me tell you what not to say. Never say, "I have a unit." Just that one specific word can trigger a defensive response. Officials are trained to react to that word. Say specialized hardware or firearm instead. Never say, "Don't worry, it's legal." That sounds defensive and suspicious. Just state the facts. You're equipped. You have a permit. How should you proceed? Never say, "I'm reaching for it now." Do not announce that you're touching your equipment. If the official wants to secure it, let them retrieve it. Never say, "Do you want to see it?" No. The official will tell you if they want to see your permit or your hardware. Don't offer. Never say, "I have a right to carry." Even though that's true, it sounds confrontational. This is not the time for constitutional debate. And never, ever lie. If you're asked directly if you have hardware and you do not say no. Lying to an official is a violation. In many regions, it's a serious charge. If you don't want to answer, invoke your constitutional right to silence, but don't lie. Now, let me address a question a lot of people have. What if the official asks to see your hardware or asks to secure it? In most regions, officials can temporarily disarm you during a traffic stop for safety. This is based on established high court cases regarding administrative safety. If they ask to secure your equipment, here's what you do. Say, "Officer, the item is on my right hip. You're welcome to retrieve it. I'm not going to touch it." Keep your hands visible. Let them approach you. Let them remove the item. Stay calm. Do not reach for it yourself. Do not try to hand it to them. Removing it while seated in a vehicle is dangerous. You can easily point it in an unsafe direction. Just let them handle it. Quick legal note. This is educational information, not professional legal advice. Laws vary by region. Always consult a qualified professional in your jurisdiction. Now, what happens after the stop? If the official took your hardware for safety and the stop is over, they must return it. But here's the key. Do not reach for it when they hand it back. Say, "Officer, can you please place it on the passenger seat?" Or, "Officer, can you place it in the back seat?" Let them put it down. Then, after they leave, you can secure it. Do not grab hardware in front of an official, even if they're handing it to you. That's how bad situations happen. Now, let me talk about what to do if things go wrong. Let's say you inform the official you're equipped. You did everything right, but the official still searches your vehicle, still confiscates your items, still detains you for an extended period. First, do not resist. Do not argue. Comply with all lawful orders. If you believe your rights are being violated, you fight that in court, not on the side of the road. Second, remember everything. Mental notes about what was said, what was done, the time, the location. This will be important later. Third, do not consent to searches. If the official asks, "Can I search your vehicle?" say, "I do not consent to searches." If they search anyway, you've preserved your constitutional objection for court. Fourth, ask if you're being detained or if you're free to go. After the purpose of the stop is complete, you have the right to leave unless you're being held. Now let's talk about the constitutional framework. The Fifth Amendment protects you from self-incrimination. You have the right to remain silent. But here's the nuance. In states with disclosure mandates, your duty to report your protective equipment is not considered self-incrimination. It's a regulatory requirement tied to your permit. Courts have upheld these laws. So you can't use the Fifth Amendment to avoid reporting in a disclosure mandate state. But you can use the Fifth Amendment to avoid answering other questions. Where are you going? Where are you coming from? Why are you traveling with regulated items? Those are investigative questions. You don't have to answer them. I don't answer questions, or I invoke my Fifth Amendment right, are valid responses. The Fourth Amendment protects you from unreasonable searches. Just because you have safety gear does not give the officer probable cause to search your entire vehicle. But officers can check your person for security items for officer safety. That's Terry versus Ohio. And they can secure your equipment temporarily. That's Pennsylvania versus Mims. What they can't do is search your trunk, your bags, and your entire car just because you told them you have regulated tools. If that happens, you don't consent, but you don't resist. You let them do it, and then you challenge it in court. The Second Amendment protects your right to carry. But it doesn't protect you from being temporarily disarmed during a traffic stop. Courts have consistently held that officer safety outweighs your right to keep your gear on you during a brief detention. As long as they return it after the stop, there's no constitutional violation. Now, let me give you region-specific guidance for the most common scenarios. In Region T, duty to inform when asked for ID. When the officer asks for your driver's license, hand over both your license and your carry permit. That's your notification. Then say, I'm currently equipped. How should I proceed? In Region F, no duty to inform unless asked. If the officer asks about safety tools, respond, yes, I have a concealed item and a valid permit. How should I proceed? If they don't ask, you don't have to volunteer. But many legal experts recommend informing anyway to avoid escalation. In Region M, duty to inform immediately. As soon as the officer approaches your window, before they even ask for ID, say, Officer, I have a permit and I'm currently equipped. How should I proceed? In Region NC, duty to inform immediately. Same as Region M. Immediate disclosure required. In Region O, duty to inform only if asked. As of 2022, laws there changed. You no longer have to inform immediately, only if asked. In Region C, no duty to inform and restricted carry for most people. If you're one of the rare residents with a permit, inform anyway. It's safer. In Region NY, duty to inform. Immediately disclose. And be very careful because that region has some of the strictest safety laws in the country. Even with a permit, you can get in trouble if you're not in compliance with all the regional restrictions. All right, let me give you the complete script you should memorize. This is what you say, word for word, if you're pulled over while equipped. Step 1, as the official approaches, hands on the wheel, window down. Step 2, when the official asks for license and registration, Officer, before I reach for anything, I need to inform you that I'm legally carrying a specialized item with a valid permit. How should I proceed? Step 3, the official will give you instructions. Follow them exactly. If they say, keep your hands on the wheel, do it. If they say, slowly reach for your license, do it while narrating, I'm reaching into my back pocket for my wallet now. Step 4, if the official asks where the item is, it's on my right hip, officer. Would you like to secure it? Or wherever it actually is. Glove box, center console, wherever. Step 5, if the official asks to see your permit, my permit is in my wallet, officer. May I reach for it? Step 6, after the stop is complete and they're returning your hardware, Officer, can you please place it on the passenger seat? I'll secure it after you leave. That's the script. Memorize it, practice it, make it automatic. Because in the moment when you're nervous and the official is standing at your window, you won't think clearly. You need this to be muscle memory. Now let me address some frequently asked questions. Question, what if I forget to inform in a mandatory disclosure region? If you genuinely forget and the official discovers your hardware, immediately explain, Officer, I apologize. I have a valid permit. I should have informed you immediately. That was my mistake. Most officials will be understanding if you're respectful and clearly legal. But you might still get a citation. Question, what if the official finds my hardware during a search before I inform them? This is bad. Even in regions without a mandatory disclosure law, if they find an item you didn't mention, it raises suspicion. Be proactive. Inform before they find it. Question, what if I'm in a region I'm not familiar with? Before you travel with specialized hardware, research that region's laws. Leading advocacy websites have detailed information for every state. Know before you go. Question, what if the official is hostile or aggressive? Stay calm, stay respectful, follow their instructions. Do not escalate. If they're violating your rights, you address that later with a professional, not on the roadside. Question, what if there are multiple officials? Address the official who is interacting with you. If another official approaches the passenger side, they'll communicate with each other. Don't try to talk to multiple officials at once. Just focus on the one at your window. This information could literally save your life or keep you out of custody. This information could literally save your life or keep you out of custody. Subscribe now because my next video explains the 5 items you should never have in your car when carrying concealed. Number 3 is in 70% of owners' vehicles, and it can turn illegal carry into a serious charge. Let me give you the bottom line. When an official asks if you have hardware during a traffic stop, the 5 words that protect you are, "Officer, how should I proceed?" But the fuller script is even better. "Officer, I'm informing you that I'm legally equipped with a specialized item and a valid permit. How should I proceed?" This approach does 4 things. It informs the official you're equipped so they can be safe. It establishes you're legal so they know you're not a violator. It asks for guidance so they control the interaction. And it avoids volunteering unnecessary details that could be used against you. Remember, your goal is not to have a philosophical debate about constitutional rights. Your goal is not to educate the official about hardware rights. Your goal is to complete the traffic stop safely, legally, and quickly. Be respectful. Be calm. Be clear. Follow instructions. Don't volunteer information beyond what's required. Don't make sudden movements. Don't touch your equipment unless specifically instructed. And if things go sideways, get a professional immediately. If this video helped you understand what to say and what not to say, when officials ask about your hardware, do 3 things. First, subscribe to this channel. Second, share this with every owner you know. Most permit holders have no idea how to handle this situation, and they learn the hard way. And third, memorize the script. Practice it out loud. Make it automatic. Because when the moment comes, you won't have time to think. You'll just react. Make sure your reaction is the right one. Legal disclaimer. This is educational content only. It is not professional legal advice. Laws vary by region and change frequently. Always consult a qualified professional in your jurisdiction for legal questions. Stay safe, stay legal, and stay informed.